Thank you all for coming. It's a nice group this morning. And I don't, I think everyone knows Orina. I'm not sure how much introduction I need to do. So I'll keep this very, very brief. And hang on, one more person coming in. Earlier in the year, just after the war began, we had Orina do a presentation about the work that her foundation in Warsaw has been doing, bringing medical supplies relief into Ukraine, and and we had a lot of interest. I think Hoden and I were talking the other day. I think we might have had 100 people. I don't remember. It was a lot, and then we followed up as by way of updating people on the work, and it occurred to us that some time has passed, and coming together again to share an update, having Orina update on the work that's going on in Ukraine that they are doing from Warsaw would be wonderful. So I will hand the microphone, so to speak, to my friend Orina, and let you let us know how things are going, and what's new and what's changed, and anything else you'd like to share. So thank you all for coming.
Thank you so much for coming, and it seems very heartwarming to see you all, and it seems like we already know each other. So that's very, very moving for me to see you, and also to be able to share the work that we do. And also, I would better say the work that we do, all of us, because really, I have to say, from the amount of heart, help, and generosity that we received from you kept us going. I'm very, very serious about it, and it helped us being here, staying active, and continuing work through all these months, because we haven't really stopped. I will tell you briefly, not to take too much time of you, and maybe it's as Jeff, you said at the beginning, the group was so big. Now we're in a bit smaller circle, but maybe we can leave it also open. If you have any questions, just please feel free to ask them while we talk, or while I say, because maybe that will be also a formula. Thank you also, Jeff, and I want to thank you so much for organizing this. It really means much, really means much. So I would start with a very quick sum up. So as you know, we have started very vivid campaign, raising funds and raising money to purchase medicine and medical equipment for hospitals in Ukraine. And right away, I don't know how, by accident or by, I don't know, maybe there's no accidents, but we had, from the very beginning, we had very, very direct contact with hospitals, with volunteers of defense forces, so very credible sources. And by now I can say we're friends, really, with people on the other side of the border, because we keep in touch all the time. So this is a contact that is on the, maybe we don't know much about each other, but this is a contact from really heart to heart. So this is something that I feel very, very, how to say, confident about all these contacts that by these months grew stronger, and the net of amazing people we met just grew bigger. So thanks to you, and thanks to many people, we have gathered and sent medicine and medical equipment for about $150,000, which is amazing amount. And all of this was sent until the end of August. In the end of August, we sent last transport, and that was the end of our money that we had. And now we're raising we started another campaign, fundraising campaign, because one hospital that we were very close to and we stay in touch with in Czerniowce, the hospital that you probably know out of me speaking or me sending some emails, it was all around then. So they sent appeal for help, and mostly, of course, it's about heat generators, electricity, warming clothes, medicine, bandages, and everything standard. I'd say antibiotics, anti-inflammation medicine. This is the basic, but most of it regards now heating. So another hospital that we made contact with, it's a new one. It's a hospital in Odessa, and I will show you because I made some screenshots also for you to know. Maybe some of you have Instagram, or some of you have social media, because there's really good sources of information from Ukrainian media published in English. So I'll show you later about the situation in Odessa. It's very, very, very tragic and very difficult. So we have now made contact with a hospital in Odessa, and I will want to read you something later because I think this is the best testimony, and better than me explaining it. But what I wanted to also tell you is let me see, because I have prepared a small agenda. I wanted to tell you who we helped except these hospitals. So there was a Czerniowce hospital, the big one. There was a big hospital that we were in contact with in Kiev. It was it's called Veterans Base Home Hospital in Kiev. But also we, I don't know, we happened to answer the needs that just came in, and they just keep coming in. So we have also worked with an organization that is called Insight, and it's a queer organization that helps people with HIV and people in transition who are left with absolutely no help. So we were organizing transports of medicine for them. We have helped also a Carpathian initiative. Our friend actually met a chaplain who was traveling around and is traveling with his organization around Ukraine to hottest spots, most difficult, where medicine and help is most needed. And he also serves his spiritual support. So we started to work also with them, and we're sending help to this organization, and we're still in touch. I was also thinking to share one accident or one thing that we had to. It was very, very dramatic. Our friend Krzysiek, who you met probably, it had to take less than 24 hours for us to organize medicine for people who were under chemical. How do you say, a chemical influence? So the medicine, so the medicine had to be transported from Poland because there was no access in Ukraine. So, and it had to take less than 24 hours for them, because otherwise they would just die. So sometimes, the work is planning ahead, like we're doing now. So we're planning ahead for this transport that we want to send to these 3 places now. We want to send to Odessa, we want to send to Czerniowce, and also we want to send to our friend Zhenya, a volunteer who is working like the chaplain. He goes to hottest spots and he just delivers the most needed medicine. So the transports will be divided into 3, and then and I guess we will be able to do it by the end of January, because we have to fundraise, we have to order things. Usually it takes about 10 days for us to also look and search for resources. Sometimes it's not even possible to get them in Poland, especially with heat generators, because I don't know if you also probably you heard, the situation is absolutely dramatic with 10 million people without electricity. Our friends, Tatiana is one of our closest friends, or my closest friends here now in this our committee, our team, and she's Ukrainian. She lives in Poland, and she's our translator. Really, it's all on her shoulders, translating all the list of needs and being on the phones and everything. Her dad is by Kiev with her grandmother, and they have electricity 2 hours a day, 2 to 4 hours a day. So the heating is 2 to 4 hours a day. They recharge phones, and that's it. So this is how people live now. But because our bond to medical care is so strong, and you can always. I just talked to Jeff just briefly before entering, how elderly people and how people in hospitals, so how wounded people are vulnerable in times of blackouts, in times of when the power is off in the hospitals. There's still surgeries being performed even. It's unbelievable reading and hearing about this amazing, I'd say, braveness, if I can say it, about of doctors and of medical staff who keeps working despite conditions. So what I can tell you just from my perspective is that, of course, some things changed, because at the beginning of war, I don't know, I think I slept 20 hours a day, and the other way around. So slept 4, worked 20. And it was on such a high emotions, and I mean, emotions are still very high, but of course some level of tiredness came in. So on one hand, it's very difficult to keep going. On the other hand, it's much worse not to keep going, and just to look and being also so close and having so many friends over there, because as I told you, the net is getting bigger. As for me also, we have been except sending help over to Ukraine, we have been developing here programs for, this is my warmer. Personal warmer. So we have been developing also programs here in Warsaw for refugees and solidarity. I'll tell you very briefly about it, because we also are very, very focused to support this and find funds to keep going. As we see, it's very important. So we started in June with classes for kids, for Ukrainian and Polish, and also for kids from all over the world, because we feel that it's very important to support the solidarity and support the dialogue, especially with rising prices, economical crisis, of course, in Poland, with psychological crisis, with this tiredness. So I personally feel that the mission here also, with such income of guests, is extremely important to really work for us to inflame all the time this feeling of of curiosity to one another, and at the same time of this welcoming energy, and sustain it. So we have been running these classes for kids, and this was stress reduction and art classes. And I have to tell you, to share with you, for example, on one art classes, kids, Ukrainian kids, they drew wounds all over their bodies. So we had to find a psychologist, Ukrainian psychologist, who would come and join the classes, because it was a bit of a shock for us. So we weren't prepared for this. So it comes the themes and subjects just come. And so we keep going with this. We just finished an autumn semester, and we hope to start from January on. And the second thing that we hold as a common kitchen is also a solidarity program. We invite every 2 weeks. We organize workshops for anyone who wants to come. And we invite people from all over the world to cook something from their homeland, to share and just to teach. So people learn. It's like cooking workshops, and at the same time we just get to know each other. And for me, this is extremely important project, and I gained many amazing friends thanks to it. But this I'm telling you this because also being all the time in this net of people from all over the world who come, or many Ukrainians who come, we have this very bigger and bigger net also of friends who have families over there. So it's just impossible to stop. It's just impossible to walk away. Oh, I would say just walk away. And also my world changed, everyone's world changed, because except gaining new friends and meeting new people, we started to live a little bit differently, like answering everyday needs. Like I talked to Andrzej just before our Zoom, and we were talking about the situation that happened yesterday. Our friends, I teach at the school, British school, Warsaw, theater classes, and they had some lunches, like Christmas lunches left. So we managed to right away send these lunches to people, to homeless people in need. So, and it was through our Ukrainian friends. So these things happen all the time. Someone needs something, you have to react. It's very instant. So coming back to the list of needs, because they came, we react. So this is how it's how it goes right now. It's very instant. And I would like to, I think maybe that would be the best if I read you something from a volunteer that we are in contact with from Odessa Hospital, because he just wrote his testimony just few days ago, and I translated it, so it's in English. Sorry for my English if it's not perfect. So he says, energy is the one thanks to which teachers teach our children, bakers bake bread, and doctors save lives. What a Monday it was. We've been to our volunteer center. They already knew that there was a wave of massive bomb fire in Ukraine, but there's always a lot to do. So they were ready to keep on working in case of a new blackout. We even tried to joke, and suddenly a missile flew over us. A dull blow, windows rattled, car alarms howled, hit, and one more. It was clear that the missile had come very close. The lights turned off. The connection got lost. We ran outside to see if anyone was injured. First thought, oh no, not that. A civilian had been brought in, hygienic napkins. In intensive care, it is extremely difficult. Power engineer Ivan was practically at the epicenter of the explosion. It was not an ordinary working day for an employee of a critical infrastructure facility, because for a long time, all employees have been working beyond human capabilities. Ivan was involved in repair work when a Russian missile exploded near the station. As a result of the explosion, he received numerous severe fractures on the abdomen, both legs and head. Neurosurgeons, surgeons, traumatologists fought for his life for almost 12 hours. And in conditions when you need to act quickly, without the use of diagnostic equipment. Imagine, only the experience and knowledge of our doctors saved a man's life. Doctors have the task. to start the intestines working, improve brain function, return to normal life. Ivan has developed a positive dynamic during this time, and we hope he will be back to normal soon. So this is at the hospital where we will send help. We will, as I told you, we will also send help to paramedics. So with our friend Zhenya, and also to Czerniowce, to hospital that we have been working with. And I think, I don't know what to tell you more. Maybe you have some questions. Maybe I can say something more. I can show you. Oh, I know what I can do now. If questions come in the meantime, please feel free. And I would like to share screen and maybe show you some things.
I have a question, Orina.
Yes, yes, yes.
Hi, it's Marcia. I'm so happy to see you again.
I'm very happy to see you too, Marcia.
Yeah. So much love. Are there any organizations that you're in contact with people or children with disabilities?
I have been in contact with. I would have to look for the contact.
Yeah.
We were helping an organization that was actually transporting disabled children to Poland, and how to say, I don't know how to say it nicely, but distribute them around different homes.
Mhm.
So I was in contact with a person from Ukraine who was organizing all this.
Yeah.
I would have to look because you know, so many contacts also. It's like sometimes it's like an airport, so you pass it on, do something, and then it goes. But this I remember. There was also an organization that we worked with for some time in Czerniowce also, and they were also working with children mostly. Not sure if disabled, but I think it was mostly children from difficult families or troubled families.
Mm-hmm.
And I could also find contact to them.
Yeah, you know, I don't feel like I need the specifics. I just wanted to ask that question because there's also, with the electricity and everything going out, there are people who are on ventilators or, you know, machines or kidney machines for life. And so that was another question and concern.
That's why.
But thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, but it's really thanks to you. Really, I'm really honest. Poland is out of money, you know. I'm really being very, very plain. It's very, very hard to, of course, keeping, you know, just acting and doing small things is, you know, is everyday now landscape, I'd say, and it's something that is so important. It's a way to survive this, I feel.
Yes, and you're doing that there every day. So I'm saying thank you, and I'm sending all my love and support.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I think, you know, with that's why there is such a big appeal for generators, for power generators from hospitals. So in order to, if the power is off, they can keep going. Of course, it's very specific. It's not easy. Our friend, I told you about her, our friend Tatiana, who was, she's just now in the process of buying like privately a generator for her father. And it's very difficult because there's a specific amount of power that has to, I'm not a specialist yet in the yeah. So in the meantime, I'll try to.
Do you want to do your share screen and then we can come back? Bob, I see you have your hand up. Can you hold until Orina shares her picture, and then we'll come back to you after?
Fine.
Thanks, Bob.
Share screen. Can you see it? Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
So maybe I'll start with I wanted to show you briefly. I just prepared two things this is from our last classes with kids in Ukrainian school. This is just newly opened, this school. And in the whole program since June, we hosted about 600 kids. This is our friend Agnieszka, who is also coordinating. Yeah, so this was just last week. And I want to show you very briefly how our kitchen, the Solidarity kitchen, looks like. I wish you could hear because I couldn't download it with the sound. So this was our Chechenian friends who cooked. And I have to tell you, it's very touching at times. I overheard this time. This is our friend Taras. He's an angel, Ukrainian friend, his work is unbelievable. He works with, I told you about him briefly. He works with homeless people as well. So it's a big net now. So I overheard a man from Afghanistan who was talking in English to this Chechenian woman who you saw cooking, and she only speaks Polish. So Ukrainian girl translated. So there was there was a really funny translating net of people, and he said he feels at home because his mom used to cook like this, and it was really, I feel really moved. It's really something that I feel in Poland is so much needed to support this dialogue and support meeting one another and creating a common table and a common place to meet. So this is how it looks like. Right? And here, I wanted to show you something from Odessa. So from the place, this is a Kiev, I don't know if you know, but I recommend it very much. Kiev Independent, it's all in English, and they provide very well, very grassroots and very good information right away, let's say, from Ukraine. So here, of course, it says 1.5 million people without power in Odessa Oblast just now. This I won't read, but maybe some of you also, if you have Instagram, this is very beautiful and very touching. My friend just sent me. This is a poet from Odessa who is his testimony on everyday life in Odessa and how people keep going, even though without power, without electricity, and yet still translating poems, still gathering at literature meetings. It's very touching. But it would take too long if I read it. Yeah, this is what he says. No heat or water, this we said. And this is from the hospital. This is actually a picture that is from the operation taken on this this man who was described in testimony that I read to you. I wanted to also show you, this is for later, but this is lists of needs. so something that is needed. I'm sorry, I didn't translate it, but this is medical equipment for hospital. So this is something for throat. They're burn shields, so they're for burns. Bandages, thermoactive clothes, so heating clothes, accumulators, generators, of course, medicine. There is a list of needs. One of the list of needs that we received just a few days ago. It's still in Ukrainian, so our friend Tatiana is just translating now. But it's all directed to our foundation, so I just wanted to show you. And this is, you probably saw it. These are some just screens from surgeons performing an operation without light, just the light from the generator. This is in, I'm sorry, this is in Polish. But it all says the same, pretty much, that it's how many people are without electricity for how many hours. And it's actually, it's everyday news, I would say. So yeah, mostly this I wanted to share with you. This is maybe last thing. This is our friend Julia. Julia also is working very closely with us. It's our team, and she's from Dnipro. And just recently, she posted this testimony. So this is a quote of a city hall employee, and she was going under surgery when Julia posted it. So, and this is also a list of needs from Czerniowca. So it also says the same. It says generators. It says medicine, first aid kits, of course, everything, you know, to save lives. So. This is also a good source of information if you have social media. So yeah.
Thank you for those, Orina.
How to stop? Okay.
Bob, you had a question? Do you want to go ahead and unmute and share?
Yes, Rena touched on the technical features, which I don't know either, but are there any particular brands or types of generators that you hear are in need? You know, if I started searching the internet here and various supply networks and tried to round up some donations of generators, are there any terms or names that might come to mind?
I can't answer yet, but because what we need a very, very specific, how do you say, yeah, from the hospitals. So instead of buying something that won't work, we need first, and to be honest, we have to first see how much we can fundraise, because they're very expensive, or they're the most expensive. So if we don't fundraise that much, we will probably mostly buy medicine and thermoactive clothes and everything, and power banks and smaller generators. If we can fundraise more, then we will be able to buy a generator. But then I think first of all, it will depend on funds, and secondly, it will depend on very, very specific. I don't. Sorry for my English, because I have a word in mind. I can tell you on the example of Tatiana, who is searching now, and she was searching now for the property, for house property. So she said it's so specific. You have to adjust to a power that flows. You have to adjust exactly. So yeah. So it meets. That's why we have to answer the very specific need.
Okay.
So I think
The electrical connection, the voltage, the electrical connection.
Exactly. So I think before we start searching, even we have to first know exactly what they need and what we are capable of purchasing.
Does it seem better for us to concentrate on cash, on money, sending it? Will they be buying the generators in Europe for the most part, or do you hear of things being shipped from the US, being airlifted in?
To be honest, our experience from shipping from the US is very difficult. So because and it gets stuck then on duty, and it takes ages, and then probably with it's much easier in Europe. So we will probably get it either in Poland. In Poland, I heard it's not so easy at this time. But there's ways. I'm sure the best is to fundraise money, and then we'll be able to purchase it here, or I don't know, any other country within European Union, because the border then is free and open.
Very well. And then, I'm sorry, one other area. For the art classes, would art supplies be of any use? Like, I know at our Buddhist center, we have art teachers who have access to pretty good amounts of art supplies in their schools and so forth. Could those be shipped in boxes, or?
Yeah, I'm sure we have bought quite a lot, so we have some supplies, but if we start in January, that is always needed, and also to give to kids, it's always also a gift that we can hand.
Okay. Very well. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bob. And Orina, maybe this is a good time in case anyone needs to leave.
Yes, absolutely. I will. Yes.
Share the contact.
Thank you so much, Jeff. So I will share nothing changed, but maybe I can post it in chat.
Or you can share a screen like you had before.
Yes.
And Chloe, if you wouldn't mind capturing this, just so we make sure that if anyone asks us, that we can refer. There you go.
Can you see? I'm sorry, no, you can't see me. Here.
Let's just take a minute, and if anybody wants to make a note of this. PayPal is the easiest way to do this, through the PayPal link. The other information would be for wire transfer.
I'm thinking, how to, if anyone is interested in supporting, because there's obviously, we're meeting mostly because of the shipment. But I shared with you art classes and yoga, breathing, stress reduction classes for kids, as well as common kitchen. So if anyone wants to support this, it would be also amazing, because we really feel like this is very needed to keep going, to purchase food, to also pay a little bit of money to people, to refugees who are sharing their knowledge about their homeland meals and dishes. And this is also a way for us to support people who are fleeing and have no work. So I'm thinking maybe to divide, to distinguish for us, if subject or in the theme you could write, if anyone's interested, what is it for, or what is it intended to support.
Wonderful. Thank you, Orina.
Shall I stop sharing?
Yeah, maybe I think maybe Chloe or Jim maybe took us. If you could take a screenshot of that too, maybe we can share. If others have questions, we have some time here, and we're a small enough group. You can just raise your hand and ask.
Maybe Andrzej, my dad, wants to say something.
He's
Yeah.
gonna tell you to eat your vegetables.
Well, let me tell you as a proud dad that last month there was a contest, if I can say so, in Warsaw for the Lady of Warsaw of the last year. And Orina was chosen among the 10 ladies of the year.
Thank you so much. I didn't intend.
She was chosen because of her work for
Thank
the refugees and other works she's doing in foundation. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
I'm very proud. And yesterday I was talking to my and our friend Moshe Cohen,
Oh,
who called me and who was in Warsaw 3 months ago. And he was performing for the Ukrainian kids in these schools we have contact with. I think he's sending something to you too, Jeff.
oh,
Some kind of report, yeah.
oh, good.
It was really amazing with Moshe coming and performing for kids.
Playing with the kids. They were so happy, so happy.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, Andre. Wonderful.
My pleasure and my proud.
You
Yeah.
should be. You should be. I'm going to go ahead and I have a few questions. I'm going to go ahead and put one in, and then Marshall, I'll go back to you. Orina, when we talked before, you were your group was driving supplies into Ukraine in a van or in a truck.
Yes.
I'm just from what little I know, Odessa is very, very far away. It's all the way down in the south. How do you do this with for Odessa? Do you drive there too, or
No, not anymore. Our volunteer driver, he got pretty much banned by his family. So it was not anymore. But we have a net. So Zhenya, this volunteer that we're working with, he has a net of drivers, and Ukrainian, his organization is organizing the transport. So now what we do usually, we work also with another organization here from Warsaw, who are mostly concentrated on bringing people from Lvov to Warsaw. So they actually 5 times a week, a bus goes to Warsaw. It just travels Warsaw, Lvov. So what we do, we pack the bus, empty bus that goes from Warsaw to Ukraine. We pack it with medicine and boxes and everything. Then in Lvov, it's taken over by Zhenya, by this volunteer and his volunteers, his organization, and then they drive to another cities. But to be honest, like in August, there was a really big crisis, petrol crisis. So we also found another volunteer, Ukrainian this time, who has a permission to cross the border, because Ukrainian men can't cross the border, or they can cross the border only for 24 hours. And because he has a paper as being a volunteer of organization, we started to also work with him, and he goes much further into Eastern Ukraine.
Mm.
So that was possible for them to meet not in Lvov, not in the Western Ukraine, but more Eastern Ukraine. But like the same with Chaplin, I told you about. He goes to hottest points, like the most dangerous points and this is his service. So and actually a very interesting thing, he works, his organization, this Carpathian initiative, it's only women drivers because they can cross. So we have met so many amazing women driving through Ukraine, Poland, and back and forth. Very brave, amazing women.
As you were doing before, I remember you telling us about you would take your vehicle into Ukraine with medical supplies and then have refugee people be in the vehicle coming back into Poland. Is this still happening, or is this slowed down to almost a stop?
Well, we are not so much involved, not so much anymore, because we changed a little bit. Plus, our last transport happened in August. We concentrated mostly on what we can do here, so developing the programs with refugees. But I know friends who keep going. They keep going all the time, and also, there's the wave, refugees, migrant wave was enormous at the beginning. Then it slowed down, obviously, around summer, and now it's getting bigger again and higher again. And I get sometimes it's very touching because sometimes I don't even know who, like, what is the distribution of contacts. I don't even remember. And just a week ago, 2 girls, they emailed me that they are from Odessa Oblast and their house was bombed. So they had to travel to Western Ukraine and they want to travel to Poland, and they were looking for a place to stay. Warsaw is very difficult now for places because people took many people homes, but there's no space anymore. So it becomes a struggle to find places for people who come.
Yeah. Marcia, you had your hand earlier.
Yeah, thank you. It's about donating. You put the information up about the foundation, but Jeff, I'm wondering if we could donate. I'm thinking about 501c3 and nonprofit status and being able to donate and it being a tax write-off for us. And I'm wondering, could we donate through Zen Peacemakers for the foundation?
Unfortunately, I see exactly your question, Marcia.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can't do that. So this is Orina and I are kind of holding hands on trying to provide the information directly, but we can't be in the middle. So
Got it.
yeah, but
Okay,
you have
that's
a good,
clear.
yeah.
That's clear. That's clear. And I mean, it's a specific question and it's clear, at our last call or, earlier on, after that, I think it was Ron Schmidt who did a lot of organizing and he found an organization. It was Metad, but then everything was held up at the borders for so long, just what you were speaking about. So I understand the situation. It's just, good to ask the questions and know what we all can do. That's it.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you.
Ron helped really amazingly. though it was very difficult because, as you say, it took so long and it was so uncertain and it took so much nerves also of everybody. So I guess really the best way is to transfer money, and then we do all the work here, and it's very easy to cross the border still, Poland to Ukraine.
Julian, you have your hand up if you.
Yeah, thank you, Orina. Just so amazingly moving hearing you speak. And to me, I just really want to share that. I'm in England, I'm in Suffolk in England, and just deeply moved hearing you speak. That's the first thing I want to say. And the next thing I want to say is a question about how useful, how much you are wanting volunteer help on a temporary basis. So, for example, I mean, both my wife and I are professional artists and teachers. I teach in university. I teach songwriting often in a context of kind of social exploration. But we're both lifelong teachers and artists, and also, of course, work with students who are very apt and keen to jump in. And I just wondered about temporary, how useful and when and how and if temporary volunteering is helpful to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I'd say honestly, the language is the big barrier. Even Polish Ukrainian is difficult. So, for example, for kids, we always need to have a translator. So we need to have a Ukrainian speaking person, and usually it's a person who translates from Polish to Ukrainian. I haven't met so many Ukrainians willing or able to translate from English to Ukrainian. We could find, but it's harder, definitely. There is some friends, some Zen Peacemaker friends coming over to Poland but there's always work needed, of course. But I think the most effective is if there is language.
Yes. So if we brought, for example, a translator with us, somebody who was fluent in both English and Ukrainian, would that make a difference?
Sure. Yeah. I'm sure. If we manage to come back with classes, as I hope we can, if we gather, we're also looking for grants. We're looking for everything going. Then it would be amazing, of course. Then we can organize. But we just need some time because we just finished, like last week, we finished this autumn semester, and we're hoping to start back in January.
Yes, yes. Got it. Okay, thank you for that. That's really helpful for now. Thank you. And just thank you.
Thank you, Julian. And to help facilitate any conversations that might want to go on after we finish, Chloe, are we info@zenpeacemakers.org? Is that if we were to go through our email, we could share people's emails? I can't hear you, Chloe.
Well, I will be sending out a post-event survey with the donation details attached.
Okay.
And it should come from the info@Peacemakers International.
Okay. And then if, for instance, Julian, if you wanted to get in touch with Orina, we can do it that way, so that we're confidential with email addresses, but we can share yours with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure thing. I mean, the key thing is about being, offering what's useful, and so we just keep on asking that question if and when, like when there's a possible offering, when there's something that of people that could come over, then I'll just check in and see, okay, how's the land looking and what's useful and, you know, all that.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, Chloe just put our address in the chat, so you can go through us to get in contact with someone else here.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Thanks. Jim.
Good. Anyone else have a question or a comment? Or I came prepared, so I have another one.
I hope I can answer.
Well, let me go ahead then, and maybe this will stimulate somebody else too. Orina, you know, I started, there's so many different parts of this, but as you were talking, again, I recall when we met before and talking about people coming to Warsaw and facing the initial challenges of food, clothing, and someplace to live. And then I think what you said was then there's the next level of being approved to stay and getting a job and things like that. And I'm wondering, among the refugee community that you come in contact with, how are they doing? How do they feel? Do they expect or want or plan to go home? Do they, you know, are they hopeful? Do they think this will end sometime? Or do they see this as a temporary thing, or that they've altered their lives permanently?
Well, I don't know why, but I erased one screenshot, maybe because I thought I did too many at the beginning, wanting to show you. But there was one screenshot that I came across an article yesterday that about 90-something Ukrainians believe that war will end very soon. Very, very moving. And all of my friends, they are so determined. You don't believe. I don't know where they get the energy from. I have no idea. And I admire them very much. My friend Taras, Yulia, who you saw this testimony of, Maria, they are the community here living in Warsaw for years now, for a few years. But they have done and they have been doing, along with our friends, like just, you know, Polish friends, such a tremendous work. And they are certain and sure. There is no doubt that this will not end or this will last. You know, there's some sort of amazing courage is not the word, is they're confident about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is a part of the energy that we also get.
Mm-hmm.
I get very influenced and inspired by. And I think, you know, of course we don't know what will happen. Of course we don't know. But I believe that by contributing, by doing what we can every day, we're contributing a little bit towards this, you know, the good side. This is how I believe. This is what I believe in. About you asked also, Jeff, about people coming home. Some people came, like my brother. He has a house, quite a big house, that was it's my mom's son, so my half brother, and he's after his dad, he got a house. So 2 levels of this house they gave to refugees, women. So there was a few women with even more children. Some of them were pregnant, and they got really close by these months because they lived months. And few of them came back. They couldn't. They were so homesick, so they came back to their husbands, and they came back in the summer. But now, as I remember, my brother, he told me that 2 of them are coming back again.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's back and forth, you know, for people who can, who have a place to go back to. it's always home. You know, it's really, I have heard so many testimonies, and there's Andrzej knows very well Kasia, our I would say now long-term friend, who has been helping out at, I know her since I was a child. So she's from Ukraine, and she has helped at home, like with house cleaning and anything that was. So we helped a lot, also her and her family, because her son-in-law, her daughter are over there. And what she was saying, I don't even know if, you know, if it's a right time to say it all, to repeat it all, but really it's a picture of hell sometimes, you know. And it's like everyday story, I would say, you know. I meet her, she tells a story, she cries, and goes on. And this is how life is, pretty much. You know, there is also, I don't know, that the church, Ukrainian, so Eastern. I don't know.
Eastern Orthodox Church.
Eastern Orthodox, yeah. It's full. If you see in Warsaw, full of people now.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you. We have a little time. Anybody, if you have a question or comment for Orina?
Well, I have a comment. You know, this is precious time. And it's precious time together. So I am grateful, and I am moved, and I hold you all in heart and mind continually, because you're there, heart to heart, and worry to worry, and tear to tear. And I embrace you for that. I love you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. This is very, I have to say, this is very precious for me too, to be able to share with you.
And congratulations, Miss Warsaw.
Not intended. But it helps to spread the word. This is how I see it. But I have to say, our friends now, they're also Tara's friends. I told you about Julia, Maria, Kaya, my dearest friend, from Museum of Modern Art, because we have been working with Museum of Modern Art very closely, and they're also nominated now for very, very big and precious, very prestigious award for the work we are doing. So yeah, I think it doesn't matter, but it matters that we can spread the word. So I'm very proud of them.
Anyone else here before we go? Kathleen.
I just only wrote something because
Right.
somehow I don't feel so much like asking, but I just want to say I'm present and I'm bearing witness and I'm thinking about fundraising, and we'll go on doing so. I think we are able to raise a bit here in Germany and through the Peacemaker group, and we'll go on to do so, and just honoring your time, the time that you spent with us also while being tired. And while there are so many things to do still, so I'm just here to bear witness to that too. Yeah.
Thank you, Kathleen. You know, it occurs to me, you know, sometimes when there's a big need like this, and forgive me, I don't want to sound like an expert because I'm not, but when there's a big need, I mean, I don't have a lot of means to help personally, but what I do have is my heart and my mouth. And I think, you know, even if I can only do a little bit, or maybe if I can't do anything, if I can tell 10 people about this and ask them to tell 10 people, all of a sudden I've affected 100 people. And if we all do that, if we all share this story and encourage others to listen and to feel it in their heart, and then to go tell the story to more people, this multiplies, and maybe this can produce something good. So just a thought. Yeah. Well, if we don't have any other comments or questions, then perhaps, Orina, do you have anything you want to offer to, you know, to conclude?
I think I would like to thank you, really, from my heart. It's extremely precious to have you, to be able to share with you, to feel you, to receive so much of support, so much of love, and I feel it's really a common work. Really, it's beyond borders, beyond distances. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Orina, and thanks for being our guest again. And everyone else, thanks for joining today. And we appreciate your time and attention and and big hearts. So, however, maybe we'll end this way. However you celebrate this time of year, and it's good practice these days to not be specific because people celebrate in so many different ways. Other than, I will say, tomorrow is the winter solstice, so it's our shortest day and our longest night, and then it starts going back towards summer. I always like to remember that. So, but I wish everyone peace and good health and happiness through this time, and we'll see you the next time we all get together. So, thank you. And bye-bye.